The taunts cut through the locker room like shards of broken glass. "Look at this pretty boy thinking he can run with real men," sneered Officer Ramirez, slamming his locker shut while the rest of the SWAT team howled with laughter, circling Leo like wolves scenting weakness. Leo stood there in his crisp new uniform, jaw tight, fists clenched at his sides, refusing to flinch even as another voice joined in. "Bet he cries after every call, Captain's little project." The air was thick with sweat and mockery, the kind that had followed Leo since the academy, the kind that made every shift feel like walking a minefield. He had transferred to this elite unit in downtown Chicago 3 weeks ago with nothing but quiet determination and a secret that could destroy him if it slipped. Before the laughter could swell again, the door banged open. Captain Alexander Kane strode in, 6'3" of disciplined authority, silver threading his dark hair at the temples, shoulders squared under the weight of 20 years on the job. The room snapped to attention instantly, laughs dying in throats. Alexander's steel-blue eyes swept the circle and landed on Leo. For one heartbeat, the captain's expression remained unreadable. Then he spoke, voice low and steady, carrying the kind of command that silenced rooms. "Stand down, gentlemen. The man you're harassing isn't some rookie you get to break." He stepped forward, placed a hand on Leo's shoulder in full view of everyone, and the touch was gentle yet unmistakable. "He's my husband." The entire squad froze. Ramirez's mouth hung open mid-sneer. Someone dropped a water bottle. It clattered like a gunshot. Leo felt the heat rush to his face, but beneath the shock was something warmer, something he had waited years to feel in public, the quiet relief of truth finally breaking free. Alexander turned to the team, voice calm but edged with steel. "Effective immediately, Officer Ramirez, you're on administrative review. The rest of you, if you have a problem with who I love, my door is open. But disrespect in my unit ends today." He squeezed Leo's shoulder once more, a silent promise, then walked out, leaving the locker room in stunned silence. Leo exhaled slowly, heart hammering. This was the moment they had both feared and longed for, the moment their carefully guarded life together stepped into the harsh light of the department that had raised Alexander. As the team dispersed in awkward murmurs, Leo caught Ramirez's glare, cold and calculating. He knew this revelation was only the beginning. That evening in their modest apartment overlooking Lake Michigan, Leo paced while Alexander loosened his tie. "You didn't have to do that today," Leo said, voice thick. Alexander pulled him close, foreheads touching. "I should have done it years ago. You deserve to walk in without hiding." Their first kiss after the reveal tasted like freedom and terror all at once. Leo remembered the night they met, 5 years earlier at a discreet charity gala downtown. Alexander had been there representing the department. Leo, fresh out of the academy, had volunteered as security. One shared glance across the room, one conversation about duty and loneliness, and everything changed in secret hotel rooms and weekend drives up the coast. They had built a marriage in the shadows, rings worn on chains under uniforms, vacations taken separately to avoid questions. Now the shadows were gone, and the light felt blinding. The next morning at roll call the atmosphere was electric with tension. Whispers followed Leo down the hallway. Some officers nodded in quiet respect, others avoided eye contact. Captain Alexander kept his professional distance in public, but his eyes tracked Leo with protective warmth that everyone now understood. During the briefing for an upcoming raid on a suspected drug warehouse on the south side, Alexander assigned Leo point position, a vote of confidence that made Ramirez mutter under his breath. Leo ignored it, focusing on the maps, on the lives that depended on them. He had always been good at the job, sharp instincts, calm under fire, but now every success would be scrutinized through the lens of favoritism. After the briefing, Leo cornered Alexander in his office. "They think you're giving me special treatment." Alexander closed the door, pulled Leo into a quick embrace. "Let them think what they want. You earned your spot before they knew my name." Their conversation drifted to deeper waters, the way it always did when they were alone. Alexander spoke of his own father, a retired lieutenant who still believed real men didn't cry, let alone love other men. Leo shared stories of his conservative family back in Ohio who stopped answering calls the day he came out at 19. The weight of those rejections had shaped them both, turning love into a fortress they defended with silence. That afternoon, the team ran drills. Leo moved with precision, covering his partner without hesitation. When Ramirez deliberately lagged on an entry maneuver, nearly compromising the simulation, Alexander called him out publicly. "Personal feelings have no place on my team. Fix it or find another unit." The warning hung heavy. Later in the gym, Leo overheard two younger officers talking. "Kane was always the straightest guy here. How long you think he's been, you know?" Leo's stomach twisted. He wanted to defend their story. The quiet nights Alexander read case files while Leo cooked, the way they balanced each other's nightmares after bad calls. Instead, he finished his set and left, the isolation sharper than before. At home, Alexander sensed the shift. Over dinner of grilled salmon and rice, he reached across the table. "Talk to me." Leo set his fork down. "I'm scared this changes everything we built. What if the department turns on you? You've got 20 years here." Alexander's smile was tired but certain. "Then we start over somewhere else. Together. That's the only identity that matters now." Their conversation stretched late into the night, memories spilling out like old photographs. The first time Alexander said, "I love you," in a rain-soaked parking garage. The Christmas they spent alone because family invitations never came. Leo felt the crack in his armor widen, the fear mixing with gratitude that he no longer carried the secret alone. The raid came 2 days later under pouring rain. The warehouse loomed dark and menacing near the river. Leo moved in first with his entry team, heart steady despite the earlier tension. Flashbangs lit the interior, shouts echoed, suspects dropped to their knees. Everything went textbook until Ramirez, on rear security, hesitated just long enough for a runner to slip past. Leo pivoted, tackled the man, cuffs snapping on in seconds. When the scene was secured, Alexander pulled him aside behind an armored truck. "You saved the op." His hand brushed Leo's briefly, hidden from view, a spark of pride that warmed Leo more than any medal. Back at the station, the debrief turned ugly. Ramirez blamed distractions in the unit. Alexander shut it down fast, but the damage lingered in sidelong glances. That evening, Leo's phone rang, his mother's number for the first time in months. He answered on speaker so Alexander could hear. Her voice trembled. "We saw the news clip about the captain coming out. Is it true? Are you married to him?" Leo swallowed. "Yes, Mom. His name is Alexander. He's the best man I know." Silence stretched, then a quiet sob. "We need time." The call ended, leaving Leo staring at the phone. Alexander wrapped him in strong arms. "She called. That's more than we had yesterday." The following week brought an internal affairs inquiry, anonymous complaints about inappropriate conduct. Alexander faced the panel with quiet dignity. Leo waited outside, pacing. When Alexander emerged, tie loosened, he simply said, "They cleared us. But the rumor mill is just starting." They drove home in silence, then collapsed on the couch, Alexander's head in Leo's lap. "Remember when we promised each other no more hiding?" Leo whispered, fingers tracing Alexander's jaw. "I never imagined it would feel this exposed." Alexander looked up, eyes soft. "Exposed means seen. And I see you, every part." Their quiet intimacy that night carried the weight of years of restraint, a reaffirmation that love was their anchor. Tension peaked when a veteran detective, close friend of Alexander's for 15 years, requested a transfer. "I can't work under this," he told Alexander privately. The betrayal hit harder than any raid. Leo watched Alexander retreat into himself that evening, staring at old photos of academy days. "He was at our wedding, Leo." Secretly, but he was there. Leo knelt in front of him. "Then he wasn't the friend we thought." The conversation turned to sacrifice, how Alexander had once turned down a promotion to stay close to Leo during his early years on the force. Leo realized his own growth, from the scared kid hiding his orientation to the man willing to stand beside his husband in the fire. A new case pulled them in different directions. Alexander coordinated a citywide sting. Leo worked undercover as bait in a bar known for rough crowds. The separation tested them. Late-night texts became lifelines. "Miss your voice," Alexander wrote. Leo replied with a photo of his badge. "Carrying you with me." When the operation succeeded and Leo returned home bruised but triumphant, Alexander met him at the door with careful hands checking injuries. "Never again without backup," he murmured. In that moment Leo understood the depth of Alexander's fear. The same fear Leo carried every time Alexander walked into danger. Their relationship had matured from passionate secrecy to a partnership of equals, each protecting the other's heart. Family pressure mounted when Alexander's father arrived unannounced, retired lieutenant with old-school values. "Son, the department is laughing at you." Alexander stood tall. "They're learning, Dad. And so are you." Leo stayed in the kitchen, heart pounding, until Alexander pulled him into the living room. "Dad, this is my husband Leo." The older man stared, then slowly extended a hand. "You make him happy?" Leo answered without hesitation. "Every day." The visit ended in awkward silence but no slammed doors, a small crack in decades of disapproval. The team's attitude began shifting after a joint operation with the FBI where Leo's quick thinking saved 2 officers, including Ramirez. In the hospital waiting room, Ramirez approached, eyes down. "I was wrong. About both of you." Alexander nodded once. "Prove it on the job." Slowly, conversations replaced sneers. Leo found himself included in post-shift beers, cautious at first, then genuine. The change wasn't overnight, but each small acceptance chipped away at the walls Leo had built around his heart. Yet new storms gathered. A local news station ran a story on the first openly gay captain in Chicago SWAT, complete with old academy photos and speculation. Hate mail flooded the station. One letter threatened both their lives. Alexander insisted on extra security. Leo insisted they keep living. "If we hide again, they win." Their argument ended in exhausted agreement, then quiet lovemaking that spoke of shared resolve. Alexander traced the wedding band Leo now wore openly. "You've grown into someone I'm proud to stand beside." Leo smiled against his chest. "We grew together." A betrayal came from an unexpected source. A young officer Leo had mentored leaked private photos to a tabloid. The department launched another investigation. This time, the stress fractured something in Leo. He sat on the fire escape one night, tears silent. Alexander joined him, no words needed at first. Then, "Whatever happens, we rebuild. You and me." Leo leaned into him. "I was so afraid of losing you to their hate." Alexander kissed his temple. "The only thing I'm losing is the fear." In that conversation, Leo confronted his deepest insecurity, the belief that his love made Alexander's career suffer. Alexander dismantled it with steady honesty, reminding him of every promotion earned on merit, every life saved because of their mutual strength. Months later, the department held its annual awards banquet. Alexander stood at the podium accepting the Medal of Valor for the warehouse raid. Leo beside him in dress uniform, ring glinting under the lights. The applause was thunderous, some genuine, some reluctant, but real. In his speech, Alexander spoke simply. "This medal belongs to the man who taught me that courage isn't wearing the uniform, it's being honest in it. My husband, Leo." The room erupted again, louder this time. Leo felt tears prick his eyes. The journey from locker room mockery to public pride complete in ways he never dared dream. Back home, they stood on the balcony watching city lights reflect on the lake. Alexander pulled Leo close. "We made it through the fire." Leo nodded, voice soft, "and came out stronger." Their story wasn't over. New challenges would come, new officers to mentor, families still healing. But in each other they had found the home neither had known growing up. True or false? Love between two men can transform an entire institution only if one of them is willing to risk everything first.